So today I'm going to share with you guys, if you want to start becoming super productive, you've got to stop doing things. You want to know what I mean? I'll explain in the video, but let's take a walk first. Okay, so what do I really mean when I say that if you want to be super productive, you have to stop doing things? So I spent the last few years of my life learning about productivity, efficiency, how to do things well, fast, more efficiently, etc., etc. And not because I just was interested in it, but because I had a lot of challenges that I had to work with. It meant that I had to learn how to do things more effectively, more efficiently, support more people in my life, be in multiple different places and still operate quite productively, have team members in person and remote. If you want to be extremely effective, you have to stop doing things. Well, here's what I mean. So a lot of you who are already out there into productivity and things like that, you probably already know to use things like Pomodoro techniques and things like that to save time. So you work for 25 minutes and then you take a break for 5 minutes and you have a timer, and then you try to stack as many of those sessions as you can. So I also have something very similar to this, where I do use a little tool called Focus Timer to keep myself focused. But instead of actually having a 30-minute session or a 25-minute session, I would have a 15-minute session normally. And I'll have multiple of them, and at some point I'll usually take breaks. Elon Musk, actually, he runs his days in 5-minute blocks. So this idea of actually working in blocks is not very foreign at all. A lot of people work effectively in these sort of a pattern to save their time. When I need to be super productive, I actually stop after every segment of my work. So if you go from one task to the other, and a task is something that you can finish in 10-15 minutes, maybe half an hour. But if we move from finishing one thing to the other, then generally after 2 or 3 of those sessions, your brain gets really dull. You can't focus. You get taken over by the computer screens, and then you're running in autopilot unproductively. So here's what I do. When I finish something, so I generally have a sprint in the morning that I start, and I would focus for maybe a couple of hours of learning. And right after the learning, I'll take a little break. And here's what I will do. I would spend 5 minutes just reflecting on what I've done. And I actually ask myself a question. How am I doing with time? That's an important piece, because oftentimes what happens, in fact, every day, what you probably find what happens is that we know something will take 30 minutes to finish, but we end up spending an hour and a half, 2 hours, etc., etc. So what's great is if you can finish something and then take a quick reflection break. I would probably have a cup of tea during that time, or I will just pace up and down and ask myself questions. And generally speaking, I ask myself this question every time: how am I going with time? So that is a powerful question. So if you could answer that, generally it'll be I'm doing poor, average, or I'm doing really great. So if you're doing reasonably well with time, then that's good. Keep doing that. If not, if you see that you're behind, then you might want to ask another question: that what do I need to do next? How much time should I allocate for that particular thing? But that little reflection is powerful. I find that it makes me more productive than actually the work themselves. Just stopping and thinking what I've just done and thinking what I have to do next is a powerful, powerful construct. So yeah, start taking more breaks throughout your day, and you will find yourself extremely productive. One of the things I do is in the morning, almost every morning, I'll stop for a break and I'll make myself a cup of tea, or around midday, I'll take a break again and I'll go for a walk. And each time, rather than jumping on a podcast or audio or kind of program or phone calls, I do try to allocate a few minutes, anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes to maybe about 10 minutes of just thinking, what have I done? What do I have to do? And how am I doing with time? And that keeps me super productive. Now, for those of you who want to take this to an extreme level, you can try this. And here's something that I have tried in the past, and I still do when I have to be really productive. I have a lot less time, my body is not in shape, and so forth. I break down my workout session, 30 minutes workout session that I do in the morning. Instead of doing it in the morning, I break that down throughout the course of a day. So in my breaks, I will do an intense session of workout. Usually it might be 30 seconds, it might be a minute or 2 minutes, and it'll make me really puffed out. And what it does, it releases dopamine in your brain. So at that point, you are super motivated to do something really focused again for the next session. So you break down your workout throughout the day. So those are some hacks to do to be super productive. But yeah, stop more often, reflect what you've just done and how you're doing. I think you'll be a lot more productive. All right, enjoy.